So what to do? Simple question. Here we go. Bill Spiropoulos, Chief Investment Officer, CoreStates Capital Advisors. Fred Dixon, Chief Market Strategist, D.A. Davidson. What to do, Bill?
Continue to worry and continue to watch. I mean, that makes sense. And, you know, this market's had a tremendous amount of strength in the last year. And if you scared yourself out of it, you didn't make as much as you should have. And I'm sure that in the months ahead, nothing else is going to change.
Why the degree of, in other words, why the degree of confidence on the consistency, particularly as you look at the pricing of lending, which is becoming less favorable to companies, which is part of the reason we saw this morning's swoon, and how much anxiety are you associating with the increased cost of borrowing money for corporations, and at the same time the countrywide news and the potential for spreading of subprime?
Well, that's always a possibility, but I think those kinds of threats are already on the table. And basically, in my 30 years, I've never seen an item that was on the table serve as a major catalyst for a tremendous change in market dynamics. That's in full view for everybody to see. You know, if we have some lucky breaks here, and maybe this oil is in the process of making a double top, and it backs off here, that could serve as a relief valve in other sectors. The dollar certainly going down 38% against all the major currencies has been a windfall for some of the multinationals, and that will be relief.
Fred, if you look at the good news of the day, defense, Lockheed, spectacular on a relative basis. The drug names, Merck yesterday, Eli Lilly this morning, both spectacular. Does either of those industries begin to attract your interest because of the recent data?
Dylan, we've been interested in both the defense names and the healthcare names for several months. It's encouraging to see some positive earnings reports coming out of the healthcare segment. Likewise, we expect to see some more good news out of defense. Backtracking to a question you posed to the other guest, our sense is right now you need to be selective. We're focusing on the ability to buy higher quality names on dips right now. I think you stay invested, but the climb up to that 14,000, back to the 14,000 level on the Dow seems to be a little bit more difficult this time around, especially as we're seeing more companies delivering negative earnings surprises as a percent of the total than we saw last quarter.
Well, what would you define as a high quality name that is dipping?
Well, I'd look into the semiconductor space right now. I own it personally. Texas Instruments is a name that pulled back off on a very, very small revenue miss. Guidance, I think, was misinterpreted by the street, and that would be a name. Another name where we make a market is Intel. That also has pulled back. Both high-quality names in the technology area. Spending is going up. Margins are going up. They're both big participants in a global surge of technology spending and can ride that crest of global economic news.
All right, and Bill, you get the last word. What's your most comfortable? You say you like to wait up and worry. What makes you most comfortable?
Well, I think if the dollar puts in a intermediate term bottom here, that could create a hell of a headwind for energy and commodities, which are spaces that we like very much and have done well with. But the space is getting crowded, and maybe it's time for a pause there. And that could also be the fuel for my favorite category, which is large cap consumer growth. Dollar down 38%. Take a good look there. There's some bargains.
And Fred, I see you nodding. Gentlemen, I appreciate both of your time. Thank you very much, Bill and Fred. Trish.
Okay, Dylan, we want to go to some breaking news right now. David Stern, who is at the heart of this NBA scandal, he has just begun speaking. Let's listen in.
Head of the Buffalo office, second in command in Philadelphia, who has a background in undercover work. We have in-house